Welcome to Unglamorous Truths. I'm Amebit.
I'm Crystal. I'm Chandra.
This is our podcast where we talk about how to make it come hell or high water. This episode is going to be about our journey through the industry. But before we get into that, I want to kick it off with a little fun question tied to journey, destinations. What is your favorite destination that you've been to?
Budapest.
Ooh.
I know, yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah,
please.
because you know what? This was so many years ago when I went, and cities change. They're like living things.
Hmm.
So I don't know what is hidden for it now, but
Hmm.
that city was so much fun.
Hmm.
Like you don't need a lot of money. Food was good. Good old doner kebab hold you over. But mostly it was so alive. And I remember me and my friend Shayna, shout out to Shayna. We spent one day just like we had rented bikes and like was riding in this park and spent half the day just like dancing in a fountain. And there were tons of other people dancing in the fountain too because it was so hot. Like it was just fun. And just alive, like
Yeah, I
the
don't
the
think you've
daily
ever
life, the
taken a trip
nightlife.
like that again. Like you
No,
went
full
with,
backpack. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. No, no, I didn't. Because, backpacking a long time. That was a whole very lengthy,
Hmm.
we trip, but that was good. That was when I went to Armenia, which was really cool and really different. I don't think I'll ever experience anything so different again.
I would say for me right now, today, my favorite trip or place is Lisbon.
Yes.
Lisbon was was and is a vibe. I feel like now people are on the Lisbon wave. Like so
Yes.
many people are going to Lisbon. I've literally seen 10 friends in the last year go to Lisbon. But I was like, what you know about 2015, huh? Like or
Yeah.
16, whenever we went. And what is so cool to me about that city is it's like romantic,
Hmm.
like for self or for partnership. Like it's just has you ever like feel like you're in a movie in a rom-com, even if you don't meet you're not gonna meet the love of your life there just for you.
Yeah.
Just the food and the energy and the
Yeah.
warmth of the people. Like
It's a
it's a
charming city.
charming
Yeah.
city and the hills and the water and I just love it.
I'm split between two. One is Ethiopia, for many reasons. It was a homecoming. I was a child, and going back to the place where, I'm from, really just ignited so much in me, in my like passion for travel, my self-discovery, in my identity journey, and like connecting to my
Yeah.
family.
Yeah.
I was there for like 3 months, so it was a lengthy trip.
Yeah.
I went through so
Hmm.
many different emotions, and it was also my first time out of the country.
Hmm.
Like I thought, it was gonna be like riding horses on the sunset, and I'm like, oh no, I'm in Africa. Hold on.
Hmm.
And just really having to like understand that in my 13-year-old self. But when I got older and was able to travel like alone and travel for like just for fun and not like heritage and education, Brazil,
Hmm.
Salvador and Rio, wow. Like I remember saying to myself when I was there, I was like, I want to retire here later in life. It's just so peaceful. The food is incredible. It smells good too. Like
Hmm.
off the plane, like it's just like, wow, this place smells incredible. And I'll never forget it. So yeah,
Hmm.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I
that's
love
it.
when a city smells sweet. You
Yes.
know?
Smell like palm
Yeah.
oil. But yeah, so this episode we really want to get into our journey, where we started and how we got here. We met at NYU,
Mhm.
and we created a web series right out of college
Yeah.
about four broke girls hustling to make it in New York City,
Mhm.
called Downtown Girls, hence our name, our collective name. What were your expectations going into creating that project? Like for me, it really was just material for a reel.
I think it was like just the next thing to do on the to-do list. It was like this makes sense. This is the
Yeah.
bridge to where I need to go. And like you said, just getting cash, just getting out there.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And writing became a tool as a byproduct.
And I think also for me at that time, I don't use this word, but a little bit it was a little like a directionless time for me in a
Hmm.
way, because I was just
It's
trying to
real.
stay afloat so much. I was just trying to survive New York and the cost of it that it also just seemed like it was going to be something that was like fun to do with my friends. Like I felt like we were going to have a good time. Like we had come from all different acting studios, so we had never, really acted all together before. Because there's a fourth downtown girl, Siobhan Michelle, out in the world doing her thing. Yeah, we had never done that, so I thought that it was just going to be something fun for us to do. And career wise, yeah, totally agree. I felt like it was going to be a way for me to tell casting directors what types of things I will be good at. I'm gonna do the work for you. I'm gonna let you know, cast me and shit like this.
I don't think I've ever been given permission to even have that level of audacity. Like I just like, especially at that time, we graduated in 2010.
Yeah.
Like there was not a lot of programming for people that look like us. I remember us pounding the pavement, going to like Gossip Girl auditions, and the original Gossip Girl. Well, I think there was like they counted like there was only like
One
one
black
Yeah, for that
girl.
role
black
that
girl.
Tika got, right? Didn't Tika get
Tika,
that role?
yeah, one black girl.
Mm-hmm.
We were entering a very white industry.
We've said this before. It's like when you can't see yourself representation wise, it's like the bar of what's possible is, I know for myself, can be low. Like, I don't think I ever saw myself as like, I went to a high school where I actually learned, like, there was a directing course. So, like, I learned some, I was lucky to learn some of that early, but I still didn't have the confidence. Like, it's different to learn a skill versus
Yeah.
like believe, like,
Mhm.
oh, I could step immediately into this. What's normalized in culture is like what comes very easily to you naturally because you've just seen it. It's like a part of your culture.
Yeah. And I think at that point, because I had just gone through a conservatory program, I was really beholden to training. So it was like, since I'm not trained to do these things, I clearly can't do them. How can I write? I haven't been trained. How could I be directing? I don't know how, So they just weren't even thoughts that went through my mind that I could be doing these things because I didn't, for me at that time, I just felt like I did not know how.
We had a very corporate view of how
Art
art worked.
But that's also before, we are the generation who came up with the job title of creative. You're welcome. There was no, I'm a creative. I'm a creator. I create. Like, what?
Yeah.
So in this journey, we created the web series and we crowdfunded. Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Kickstarter, yes. This is when Facebook was still super popping. I mean, maybe it is popping, but I'm not on it. And we were like hounding our family and friends. Remember?
Yeah. Do you guys
Yes.
remember that party that we had at Siobhan's townhouse in Brooklyn?
Yes, our own little fundraiser, like we were little Obamas.
We invited the kids over.
Yeah.
We had some
Yeah,
snacks and
Maybe got
trays.
boozoed.
Yeah.
I think because her nerve.
We also had them watch like a
Oh,
teaser.
yes, we had our teaser.
And was like, hey, can you guys give us some feedback? And they very politely told us to throw this in the trash.
Now, so I have to remind myself how many versions of the
Yeah.
pilot of the web series we did.
So many versions.
For yes, like shot so many. We shot a version that never left our apartment.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Where the camera didn't really move.
Yes.
Yeah, we were just like walking in
With
and
the
out.
sy-
We
the
no
sync was
scripted
broke.
lines. That was all improv.
Yeah.
The episode was about our sync was broken.
I think
And-
my crazy terror cat got in the shot at some point.
Oh, I'm
Pretty
sure.
sure JoJo got in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the neighbor was playing loud music in the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we were like, this was such a great rehearsal.
It
Yeah.
was not good.
But it was really bad. I mean, it was really, really bad. Shout out to us for not
Being
letting
discouraged.
not letting that get us down, because we did that. Then we did a whole nother pilot that was definitely much better.
It was like a shameless era of ours where we're like, help us.
Yeah.
We need money. We have this dream. We're producing this project. And like people really pulled up on us. Like they
Yes.
really showed up.
I was thinking about that just the other day. How much people embraced us when we opened up and said what we were going to do. And I think we raised like $8,000, around $8,000, and a good half of that did come because each of our families gave about $1,000. And our parents did their own fundraising at home, without us like telling everybody about it. So there was that, and then we raised the other, through our ways. And but I remember being on the train and Jared Joseph, seeing him and us telling him about like what we were doing. And that man reached in his pocket and he pulled out $2 and he said, well, you know what? I love this. I love this for y'all. And let me give you what I got. And yeah, it was like $2, but it was the belief. It was
Yes,
the
it was
faith.
biblical.
It was the yes. It was
Yes.
like, let me give you what I got up out my
Yes.
pocket right now.
Yes.
And he was really looking to see what cash he had up in
Yeah.
there. And he gave that. And I was just thinking about that the other day. And I was like, that shit was so real. The love was so strong. Ugh. Yeah, people really did. They fucked with us.
They really did.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Like, thank you. Yeah, so we put this season on YouTube, and like surprisingly, people surprisingly for me, because I'm always like, wait, you like me? What? Yay.
Yeah.
Like people really responded to it. This was the time that you and I moved to LA now.
Mhm.
Like we moved to LA at the launch of season 1.
Yep.
And we still didn't know if like a season 2 was going to happen, because I mean, the two of us are here in LA, the two of you were still in New York, and everyone is still on their own individual acting paths and also survival job
Yes, figuring it out.
paths,
Yeah.
trying to figure it out. You were on the brink of moving to Germany. And I remember you and we went to, I think it's the Sofitel now, but the Shangri-La.
Uh-huh. Mhm.
I don't know how to say that place. People used to tell me I say it wrong. Whatever. The Shangri-La in Santa Monica with Bashir. I remember because he took Santa Monica the whole way. I'll never forget this. And I was like, wow, this street goes all the way to the ocean. Wow. Like brand new to this place. He's talking to us about like, okay, if you were to do a season 2, what would it be about? And we were like, I don't even know.
Yeah.
He's like, well, what are you good at?
I can see that moment right now, us sitting on that little rooftop and then asking, what do you guys good at? And we were like, partying.
And he's like, that's your show.
Yep. From that's grew. And also, shout out to my husband.
Yes.
Because he
Okay.
was very integral in those
He was
beginning
was.
days.
The original producer
Literally.
of Downtown
Yeah.
Girls.
He was
okay,
he was
creative
those
producer,
Absolutely.
financial
Yeah.
producer, all the
He also
He introduced us to
to
Jessica Lamore.
Jessica.
Yep, because he was like loosely mentoring her, and
Yep.
when I was telling him about what we were doing, he was like, "I have this girl. I think you should meet her. She's a young writer, about your age. I think she has a really good point of view." And I thought her sample was strong. I think you guys will align. And we met with her at the Jane Hotel in New York, and then we started going there.
And he also
Shout out to you, boo.
He also gave us such important feedback, which was like he kept it real with us. And he said, between what you have now and where you need to go, you guys need to honor your most interesting voice, which is through like more improv and less like straight to the script.
Also, just like identify your strengths
Yes.
and your weaknesses,
Yeah.
and find people that
supplement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
to help
Yeah,
you with the
'cause-
things that
yeah,
you're weak in. You
'cause
can't do everything.
It's like, look, you guys are not writers. Bring a writer on.
Yeah.
But that was so helpful because,
Yeah.
we learned a lot working with Jess.
Yes.
We learned so much about structure,
Yes.
just about jokes, period.
Mhm.
And, that she was like our first, giving us the crash course
Absolutely.
in how to do things. Yeah. But that
Absolutely.
conversation was transformative on that. We were sitting up there because I also feel like it was the first time where we really did start thinking about a season 2. We were
Right.
like, can we?
And also, we were also grappling with the how of it all. Like, how are we going to do this? Because season 1, we shot over the course of months.
Yep.
Right. Oh my God.
In between our work schedules.
Yep.
Of like, oh, I'm on the schedule at this restaurant on this day, and this day. So I can shoot my scenes on that day, and that day.
Yeah.
We did not know about batch recording.
And also season 1 was so much fun. To this day, that's really the most fun project I've ever done. That's that first season. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
But we were doing everything. Like literally, if you weren't shooting that day, but you were off work, then you need to be holding the boom. I was making the props up in the crib, which y'all know I loved. I loved making those props. Maybe we'll be shopping. Like we were all doing.
We were every
Putting it-
department.
every
Absolutely.
department.
What was your favorite scene from a moment in season 1? For me, it was absolutely the train scene.
Oh, yeah.
Late at night
Yeah.
at 3 or 4 in the morning. So we literally we didn't have any permits. We did not ask for permission. We just bus on the train
On the G, 'cause
on
nobody's
the
ever
G
on it.
train, the ghost train.
Yeah.
And Kevin Walker was our director. Shout out to Kevin.
Yes.
We learned that you can't you have to ask people for permission to feature them in your work as a SAG-AFTRA project. And so we did technically cast the bystanders on that train. There were some that we got cold shots of.
Oh,
But
yeah.
there was some NYU
Of course.
people. You know, there's a
Because we
woman with her
wanted very
child.
specific curated reaction.
Reactions to us dancing on the train.
Yeah.
And you can go check that out if you want to. It's still on our YouTube.
I mean, the first
Absolutely.
episode, you know, was demonetized because we used
Real music.
Yeah.
Oh,
German came for
Macklemore.
us.
Macklemore, yes.
I will never let that go.
Yeah.
Of all the music, we used Rocky, we used Drake.
Right.
Yo, YouTube came for us for
Macklemore.
And that was also devastating because that one had the most
We
views.
had
Like,
20,000
Yeah,
we got,
that's
like,
why they got
20,000
they were like,
views.
oh no.
Yeah.
And that was like a really big
You're feeling yourself.
accomplishment for us because it was a slow grow, you
Yeah.
know, like it was a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time. Like I
Mhm.
remember, you know, Mebane and I in our apartment in LA would wake up every morning and check the views and just be refreshing, checking the views, checking the views, checking the views.
Yeah, we swapped it out for an approved Ari Lennox song.
It's so crazy because we got it before Ari Lennox became
Ari
a
Lennox.
superstar.
Yeah, that's literally my girl Courtney from high school, and literally she just was
Gave us a record.
she was trapping too. She was hustling
Yep.
herself laterally, and I was like, "Girl, could we just
Yeah.
like use one of your songs?" And she was like, "Yes." So Cocoa Puffs is
Yeah.
the new song on that.
So going from figuring out how we were going to do a season 2 and not have to be in New York for all that time because we lived in LA and we needed at best 2 weeks, like, and I was pushing it
Yeah.
because it's like, who's going to give you 2 weeks off from a restaurant?
Mm.
That's 2 weeks of no pay.
Right.
Like I'm losing money now, so we need to be really tight about this. That is where the blessing that is Jacques Lamour
Ah,
comes into the picture.
Yeah. Because he financed
Jacques.
that second season. That was tremendous. I mean, obviously he was investing in his sister, but also he was investing in us. I think Bashir told us this, but if you didn't, go ahead and claim it. But only make the amount of episodes that you can make really good. So don't have more episodes of low quality.
Mhm.
You know, if you can only make 5 really good ones for the amount of money you have, then just make 5. And so that's what we did. We made 5. If you go and you watch them, you'll see a huge difference in the quality between season 1 and season 2.
For sure.
Because, season 2, like, we did everything so much smarter. Like our game, sorry, I just had a moment. I was like, our game as producers actually rose tremendously.
Yeah, we were growing.
Yeah, because we had a full crew. Like everything. We had Crafty.
Yeah, we had
Yeah.
PAs.
We had PAs.
Season 1 was so ambitious, right? And that's beautiful. And we shot everywhere around New York City. But somewhere in there, it was like the epiphany of like, oh, keep it a little bit more contained so that you have more creative control over like the crew and the choices and the lighting and the sound isn't just on the fly in the street.
And
It's like-
location is secure.
When
It
we
was
were
housing
shooting.
and location.
Yep, it was housing and locations.
Mhm.
Because we directed that season.
We did direct
Eleven, I
that
directed
season.
Mhm.
Our directorial debut.
Mhm.
This was we'd actually put both season in film festivals, but season 2 was the one that was like a knockout for us. We put it in the LA Film Festival, and like by the grace of God, an executive happened to be in the audience and emailed us from our website. We had a Wix.
Wix, yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yep.
what's the It Girl Nails? Squarespace. We had a Wix.
Yeah.
And she served us well.
Yeah.
But yeah, she emailed us from the contact form and was like, I'd like to have a general. And like, I was so green. I didn't even know what a general was. I was like, do I get paid now? I made it.
Yeah, I was like, we're gonna get a check. Yeah.
Is this a job? All of it always led to like
Casting me
a
and
job,
trying
like
to get
somebody
cash.
hiring
Right.
me.
Right. Yeah.
And I remember we go in and she's like, this is so great. Like, what do you guys want? And we're like, oh, I don't know, maybe like a 3rd season on YouTube. And she's like, I just asked you what you want. Come on, dream bigger.
Yeah.
And then we're like, well, like our own TV show on TV. That would be incredible. Like today we're in the age where it's like, absolutely, you
Of
want a
course.
TV show? Like,
Yeah.
yes. But she was like,
Yeah.
she's like, yeah, that's great. I see that for you. I only do features, so let me connect you to people who do TV. Yasmin, like,
Yeah. So wonderful.
Jasmine
you.
Hermosi.
thank you. She's like, I don't want anything. Like, there's no points on the back end, none of that. Like, I see something here and whatever I can do to shepherd it along, I'd love to do. She introduced us to Catherine Lodge,
Yeah.
who was young and hungry.
Yeah. She really was. She really championed us.
I believe she was like the assistant to the head of the management company, and he allowed her to take on clients as a way to learn.
And remember, we would come have our meetings there
in the building
but
at
at
night.
night.
At
in the
night.
well in the evening.
I remember those late night meetings there.
We'd practice the pitch with her.
Yep.
And she was a hustler.
Yes.
She was hustling her network. Like her old roommate was the daughter of a producer who had made incredible cult
Big director,
classics in the like 70s and 80s. And they welcomed us into their home, literally.
Yeah.
And taught us how to write a pitch. Because before that, remember like when we did the pitch competition and we was just like,
oh, well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about JFL, Just for Laughs in Montreal. Okay. JFL. But y'all, the funny thing is that was such a major festival and competition, and I don't think we even knew just how big it was.
But I did that is really one of my little secret shame moments. Because so we were there. We were all in Montreal. It was super fun.
Yeah.
It was so exciting. So they had this thing where you could meet 3 industry insiders, right? For us, we were like, okay, we got to use these. We all selected different people to meet, because then we can meet, 9 people, and we're gonna really fucking network. Like this, we're about to get on. I had one scheduled for really early in the morning one day, and we had went out the night before, and I was young, so I partied. I enjoyed myself, and I missed my meeting. And then the lady who was the coordinator, she was like, and I was instantly ashamed that I had missed the meeting, but I was trying to play it cool because that was who I was at that time. And I was like, guys, it's nothing, whatever. But deeply, I was ashamed. I was like, oh my God, I failed the whole group. We're never going to make it, and it's my fault. And the coordinator lady, she also shamed me because she was like, so you missed your first, when I checked in to go to my other meeting. So you missed your first meeting. Really bad. That's a really bad look. And I'm like, damn, I'm already feeling bad. I just was carrying that shit the whole time. But look at God, full circle, because who that meeting was with that I missed was Pete Aronson.
Shut up!
Who now is an executive at my husband's company.
I did not know this story.
So,
that's crazy.
Or I don't remember it.
I don't remember it either.
So, did y'all talk about this?
No. Look at God.
Yeah.
Look at God, okay? Not even all that Hennessy I drank the night before could stand between me and my death.
Amen.
We did a pitch competition. Now, it was not really traditional, but I will say that one thing that we did very cool, because I think we came up from the audience, and we were we danced up. Yeah, we gave energy. And I think that's something that continued throughout all of our pitching to this day. We pitch with gusto.
Yes.
We lay it out.
I think we really yoked them. The judges were like, we've never seen anything like that before.
Yeah. Now y'all ain't gonna win. Now the one that's gonna win is the traditional pitch that we can follow the storyline and we can see where it's going. And that man wrote something about a devil, and he won. Now we didn't win.
He really did.
But we did give them something. So yeah, when we started working with that family, they definitely taught us how to put it together, frame, gave us an infrastructure,
and also introduced us to their agents.
Yes.
They were a Paradigm.
One of which we're still with today. We pretty much followed her across her career as she moved to a different agency. Yeah, we signed to Paradigm. And I just remember that day when we walked in the room and they were all sitting on the opposite end of the table. Yeah. And I was so prepared to come in and pitch myself because that is, as an actor, you're like, sign me, sign me, sign me.
Yeah.
All the time. You actually pay to play and beg.
Yep.
And to come into the situation where the roles were reversed in a way and they were like, sign with us. This is why you should sign with us.
Yep.
This is what we want to do for you.
Absolutely.
I remember Andy Patman saying, I want to make your dreams come true.
Yes.
And I was like, white man, yes. But nonetheless, we signed with Paradigm. That was literally the beginning.
Yeah.
The beginning of everything that is till today, of TV development. They created a strategy for us to sell this, now a proof of concept. As a half-hour comedy, and the strategy was for us to find our Amy Poehler to Broad City.
Yes,
that's how they framed it. You need to find your Amy Poehler, and we pitched producers all around town, and we landed with Elizabeth Banks. And I remember the moment that it was sold to me was when we were talking about like just basically being poor in New York and how we lived in that 1-bedroom apartment in the Bronx for that little stint, and we didn't have AC. And Chandra and I would keep ourselves cool by getting high and putting popsicle sticks on our naked bodies. And then like literally pausing to see
freeze
like,
pops with the plastic, not
right.
the one
And
that
then we
sticks. The
drink them
freeze pops.
because we were high. Then we drink it when it melted.
Yeah, good times.
A vibe. She was like, I can one up you. What about putting your sheets in the freezer? And I was like, that is just way more practical than what we were doing. Like, you smart. I see.
She
You
talked about
been
some.
and
She was
shot
like,
and
they'll get warm eventually, but it'll be cool long enough for you to fall asleep.
Right. And I'm like, oh yeah, this woman is brilliant and she knows what's up. She lived in New York. She gets it, and we're not just like dollar signs.
Right.
With her, we got our first if come deal at Warner.
Yeah.
And an if come, for those that don't know, it's basically you negotiate what your deal would be if this show goes to series. But you don't get paid until a network buys the pilot.
Yes.
So yeah, we negotiated our first if come deal and we sold it to TBS. And it was our first time writing a pilot script. We were learning how to write on the job.
Yeah, we're in so many rooms. Oh my God, we pitched so many people because,
I think it was 14.
Yeah. 14 different, networks, streamers, all of it, right? And with TBS, we walk in and there's a Black woman exec. And we're like, wait, who is this lady? And then Olivia, went to NYU and was a Tishy. And it was like such a cool...
An immediate
Yes.
Moment of relatability.
Yes.
Yeah.
We were like, oh, perfect.
And like we knew like anything that these people won't understand, she's going to relay.
Right.
She's also going to champion and be like, this is it's true, it's real. We really
New York
do this in New York.
Yep.
At NYU.
Yep.
Like this is an authentic story. And so how did you feel when the show didn't get picked up to series? Because I feel like we really had expectations of like this is going. Like there wasn't like a there's a possibility and minimum.
Yeah, no, for sure. It was definitely going.
Yeah. It was really hard. I think for me at that moment, I was still very positive about us. So like, I don't think that was my heartbreak. I think we each have projects that was like, it was like almost like our heartbreak project. And that wasn't mine. I was just more annoyed because I had to go get a job because I was like, fuck, I thought this money was coming in. And
you be horse before the cart on that.
I was like, God, so let me go find work. I wasn't happy. It was just like, I think it was a real lesson in like, someone had said to me, don't ever put your eggs in one basket. And also just like, they said, just write more. And I was offended when they told me that. Because I was like, do you not know how personal this is? Like, this isn't as like, this is my baby.
We were so attached.
Yeah.
And people were seeing it as a business of, okay, so what are you writing now? And I'm like, what do you mean? What am I'm working on this.
That's my life.
This is what I'm writing. I don't know, but like after this, there needs to be more.
What's going to be next?
And it's just like, it just felt like so much pressure. 2 years of development.
That's 8 years. That's a long time to be with something.
Yeah.
And it was like our names, like the characters. It wasn't just like it was Tracy, personal. Like it was Amebit, it was Crystal, it was Chandra.
Yes.
And so it felt so, for me, it felt so personal. It was like, you're rejecting me. You're rejecting my story is not good enough.
Yeah.
My life is not good enough. When really it's just, it's business,
Yeah. It's always hard to discuss these things, right? Because you got to be careful in Hollywood, right? It's a tricky business. Got to watch what the fuck you say. But if I'm being honest, I was livid, and I think the thing that made me angriest was I was hyper concerned that we had not stayed fully true to ourselves. And that I will forever be wondering, had we just did us, would the show have gone? And I hated that feeling. And it made me so angry to have to walk away like that. And it affected the way that I work, period. Sometimes I think I even maybe push back too hard because I just don't want to ever feel that again. Well, if you say no, you're gonna say no based on my shit, and that's okay for me. I don't want to feel like I let people break me down with change my voice, because we did have something happen during the course of writing that where there was a drastic rewrite of one of our scripts in a way that was almost astonishing. Someone took our script, completely rewrote it. The voices obviously didn't match because this person was not a Black woman writing these, and it wasn't us writing these things. And that was given back, and it was like, turn this in. Now, ultimately, we did not turn that in. We did push back, and we were like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, we have to get ourselves back in here, but some of the remnants of what was done, stayed. And some of those things could have helped it, could have pushed it further. Like, I'm not going to, the person who did that was very talented. I don't want to take anything away from them. But when I told other like writer friends, because I was already in the Southside room by that time, when I'm telling other people, like, yeah, a whole nother draft was written. It was sent back to us, not even in a file that we could manipulate. It was sent in a PDF, file.
Oh my God.
People were like,
the
what?
PDF.
No, 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 no. They can't do that. No, you're not gonna turn it in like that, are you? No, like you have to. No, because something in me was like, I don't feel like this is right.
At this point, I'm like, I didn't know. I was like, if this is how the industry works, like, I don't want to be difficult.
Yeah.
And so, okay, maybe this was that person's way of helping me.
But sometimes you just don't know what you don't know. Because we were green. Like, we didn't. I mean, I knew in my gut that was fucked up. Like, I was like, nah. The PDF, woof, that just brought me back when you said that.
Like not coupled with the FDX.
Yeah, that
PDF.
Send the FDX, bro. Like, nah. Like, it was. It just felt so rushed. And it felt so like, oh, I'm gonna turn.
Or just like you don't know what you're doing, so I'm gonna
clean this up for you. Yeah, and it's like that's not the energy.
Yeah,
and if I'm not, like, that's what you're here for, to hold my hand, and like maybe a part of it is you didn't sign up to do that, but we're here.
But you're not here to alter my voice, and it was a tremendous learning experience, but that was dark. I mean, for me, that was one of the hardest parts about transitioning from the grassroots situation to the professional.
The machine.
It
was the very first experience of the machine.
Oof. Yeah. Yeah.
Even though that script didn't go to series, it was a blessing nonetheless, because that script circulated.
Yeah.
And it got into the hands of the producer who would produce our next pilot.
And ultimately, I do want to say, I stand by that script because I have reread it since.
Oh my God.
It's funny.
That's incredible.
Yeah, we did. We
talking about like
together. I stand by that script.
This,
and I still ain't seen nobody do what we was about to do.
By the grace of God, it will still see the light of day later with other actresses.
We too old for fresh out of college.
Nonetheless, that script circulated and got into the hands of another producer who literally said, whoever wrote this, I want to work with them. Like, look at that blessing. Like, and if anything, it was even more affirmation. Like, I know I did my damn thing.
Yeah.
Because this thing, at least for me, that Downtown Girls not going to series really destroyed me. That was my, oh my fucking God. Like, what? That was my baby. Like,
because you are in this little unit, you talking to these people every day for 2 years. Like, you're emailing nonstop. And then the minute something doesn't go,
everyone pivots to their other projects.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? Y'all got other projects? Well, I thought we was in this.
And it's just you by yourself. And that's like, it is a little jarring when you don't know how the business works, when you don't know that that's just how things go.
Thankfully, we had Brian Brooks, who was on our ass, telling us, you need something else, you need something else, you need something else. So right before TBS passed, we had been percolating this idea for Black Girl Magic.
Right, yeah.
We really have been. And was like, okay, so that was a natural pivot. Let's now lean into this project. That was second position, but now it's first. We soft pitched it to Holly. And I remember she was like, can y'all meet Gabs like tomorrow? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Like, even if I was on a flight tomorrow, I am wherever this woman is tomorrow. And we went in there thinking that we was going to have to like pitch her. We were prepared. Yes. We had like rehearsed. Like, yes, Gabrielle Union wants to produce something with us. And we went in there and she was like, I don't even want to talk. Like, I love this. Like, whatever y'all want to do, I'm in. Let's just kiki. And we sat in kiki for like 5 hours. Like, talking about men. Like,
dating.
It's like, oh, she's a real one. Like, this isn't just like suits and ties. Like, welcome to the Black side of Hollywood. I love it.
She was chilling.
Yeah.
At this point, we have gone through the pilot process, so we're
Yes.
not as green.
Yes.
And so we knew what to expect. We knew how to take notes,
Yes.
how to be on those calls and be like, yep, love it. Yep, I'll think about it. Sure. Instead of being like, but what you talking about? Like, what do you mean?
Right.
We ended up selling that show to NBC. It was our first network pilot. And so, like,
Yes.
we were growing. Even though these pilots never went to series, like, we are building a career little by little. And funny enough, this was the first time that, like, we had a deadline article. So, to the world,
Yeah.
this was our debut.
Mm-hmm.
And we had already gone through years
Mm-hmm.
of development with another process.
Yeah. When Black Girl Magic came out, everyone hit our line and we're so proud of us. And I was like, that's awesome. But I was like, damn, y'all really don't know how much we've been really doing this. Like, we've really been doing this. Like, you know?
And we ultimately, getting caught up in the race of TV development, we pretty much put YouTube to the side. And so this is kind of like a full
Yeah.
circle moment
Yeah.
for us.
Well, we back again, YouTube. So let's see what it do.
And shout out to the original subscribers. I know we have a YouTube gang that's like watching and back. So happy to be back.
You are always the generator of your own career. So you have to always be figuring out ways to position yourself, because yes, you have teams and people supporting you, but like you are the alpha and omega.
Yes.
And if you're not creating the spaces for people to see you, then baby, I'm gonna tell you, I don't, because if you ain't Wednesday Adams, if you're not already a big star where it's just easy to generate more stuff for you, then it's going to be really hard. So you have to be that for yourself.
Like I feel like we kind of took a back seat of like, oh, okay, we have representation now. They're going to do it all for us. They're going to make the calls. They're going to set the meetings. All I have to do is show up.
Yep.
And
And be prepared when it's my time.
Right.
Instead of being like, no.
You got to show the way. You got to be on that Oregon Trail, being the pioneer, blazing it, and then they will follow.
Right. Well, we can transition to a segment that we call Bootleg Fabulous. Tips and tricks on how to make it on a shoestring budget. What tips do you have for people that want to start creating their own work?
I always tell people that they need to come up with a calling card. If they want to multi-hyphenate style act in it, especially, it should be visual. Cast yourself, show the way every single time.
Yeah, I would probably say research. Once you meditate, you really sit, you really get your point of view. Make sure there's not something else out there that looks so much like your project.
I would say tap into your network. That is your most valuable source. A lot of people like to look up the chain of like, how can I get connected to this person that's up here already doing it? But you need to be looking to the left and the right.
That's what Issa Rae said.
Issa Rae.
Look over here, look over
Over here and over here. Like, how can we get it together? Because in the beginning, we didn't have money to pay you. So we're bartering skills. I need you to come and hold this camera. And in return, you're going to have footage for your director's reel.
Yes. Real.
Without looking to my left and the right, like we wouldn't have this. This collective is built on not just a sisterhood, but a commitment to growing in this industry together. And we were definitely ladders for each other. Like, as each of us climbed, we put a hand back.
Your win, my win.
So much so, your win, my win. Like, literally, I see y'all win, and I'm like, yes, like, we did that. We did. And it started back in our New York days where, like, you don't have rent? Well, I got a couple extra thousands right now. You can have it. And once mine deplete, you give it back. And we had our own little susu going. Make a susu with your network.
Yep.
Create art susu style.
Yes.
Art susu. Skill susu. Yeah.
And with that, we are Unglamorous Truths. You can find me at Amebebene.
I'm Crystal. You can find me at _Chris.
I'm Chandra. You can find me at Chani.
And you can find us at Unglamorous Truths and listen to our podcast wherever you find yours.